Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel ahead of a big double game week 33. As you can see, my free hit is active for this game week, and we're going with a little bit of a different approach, and obviously we'll talk through that in today's deadline stream. If you've got any questions about your team, get them in the comments section. If you want your team reviewed by myself, make sure you're checking out the FPL Cartel, link in the description for that one, and that is where we'll be doing all team reviews for the remainder of the season, and obviously going into next season as well. I know a lot of you are probably going to be on free hit this week, or bench boost. There's going to be a lot of chips flying about. Could be a very, very big swingy week. So let me know in the chat what chip strategy you are on. Are you on a free hit? Are you on a wild card? Are you on obviously a bench boost? Are you playing your triple captain? Or are you taking on this week with 0 chips in hand? Like I said, let me know where you're at in terms of your strategy for this game week. Any questions you got about your team as well, do get them in the comments. And yeah, we'll run through my team and see what it's saying ahead of this week. Obviously, a little bit, like I said, of a different approach. We're going with a 5-back, so it could be a little bit spicy there. But yeah, we'll see obviously what happens. The chat is awfully quiet this morning. Can you guys see anything? Is chat working? I don't know if the chat feature is working, but because usually we have people in here. So if the chat feature is working, is chat feature working today? Is it working? Or I don't know. I don't know. It's not coming through for some reason. Maybe chat feature isn't working. If people want to type, that would be greatly appreciated. I can see the poll is still working, but yeah, I'm not sure if the chat feature is working. Apparently it is. Okay, cool. It just wasn't popping through for some reason on my computer. Cool. Now, all of these are coming through. Bench boost strategy. Yep, the chat is working. Hey, let's go. Hey, yes, I'm in here from Australia. Yeah, let me know where you're coming in from as well. Always great to find out where you guys are coming in from. Hi, Tom, from Los Angeles, California. Very nice. I have Gabriel, Bruno, Bowen to DCL to make it 13 double bench boosters on a bench boost. Yeah, I probably would do that move. Chat has left the chat. Yeah, it fully did for a second. I don't know what was going off. I also don't know what's going off with the fixtures. Usually when we pull them through, they're not as like stretched. They look a little bit weird today, a little bit stretched. So hey ho. Maybe that's an issue. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going off today in OBS. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's also been a while since we've done an early stream, and I am definitely feeling it this morning. So probably going to need a little bit of a coffee later in the day. Malaysia from San Jose, California. We've got lots of people in from California. Very nice. Very nice. Good to see it. Gone Cherky as a differential. Shall I captain him? I mean, I put him in my TikTok as a potential differential captain. For me personally, I probably wouldn't look outside of Haaland. I just think he's probably going to be EO monster this week. And I think, gains can be had from other players rather than captaincy this week. I just think maybe just sticking it on Haaland being safe probably is the boring and correct way to play the week. If you really, really want to go for it, though, I probably would be looking at Semenyo or maybe a Chelsea attacker, given the fact that first game, United have so many players out. It could be big and could be, a game where they really do get something big out of it. So those would be the players I would be looking for. But Chucky is a fine option. I do just probably worry about his minutes potentially being a little bit dicey would be the only concern I would have. Cucurella over Gabriel. I think Gabriel could score quite well. It would not shock me if Arsenal go into that game full defense mode and Gabriel comes away with like full bonus DEFCON, the whole 9 yards really. Would not shock me. Hi from Poland. I've been to Poland. It is great. I'm a big fan of Poland. Definitely need to go back. Went to a place called Dansk. I think that's how you pronounce it. Wonderful. Lovely. Obviously, do get your questions in. If you want your team written by me, like I said, head over to the FPL Cartel. A link in the description for that one. That is where we'll be doing all our team reviews. And yeah, let's talk through my free hit side. So as you can see, it has changed a little bit from the team selection video, and that is because there are rumors that Joe Rodon isn't backing team training. However, What they have said is Joe Rodon, maybe there might be a surprise. Maybe there might be a late surprise and he might all of a sudden just be back and start featuring. So what we've done is we've taken out B. Joel, who potentially could be rotated from that. We brought in, obviously, Nico O'Reilly as well because he's now fit. So we've taken out Cherky. We've brought in Ampadu. And yeah, we brought in Nico O'Reilly. Yeah, Nico O'Reilly, Pep said he is fine yesterday. That is the quote we got. We got Nico is fine. So yeah, take of that what you will. Take of that what you will. If you're enjoying today's stream, make sure you are hitting that like button. It is really appreciated. Today could also be the day that we do hit 28k subscribers. I think we're like 50 off. So if you obviously are new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're hitting the like button as well, as it does push the stream out to more people. And that is exactly what we want to see. Hi, Tom from Denmark. Very nice. Again, another country I've been to twice now. Absolutely love Denmark. I mean, I love Scandinavia. It is a great place to be. So yeah, big fan of Scandinavia. What can I say? It's just good vibes, isn't it, in Scandinavia? Do I trust Pep? I mean, yeah, that is the next question. I think it is too big a game for Pep to be dropped, in my opinion. That's how I see it. I see it being that big a game that it's probably too big a game for him to be dropped out of. Like, they need all their best players. Because realistically, if they lose the Arsenal game, I do feel like the title is maybe gone, in my personal opinion. So I think maybe it was like he felt a little bit of cramp or something against Chelsea. They went, let's make this a bigger deal. We're already in a pretty comfortable position. Let's rest O'Reilly, give him some minutes, and let's just go, yeah, hamstring or something like that. Let's just maybe play some mind games on Arteta. I would not put that past Pep. I genuinely would not put that past Pep. So yeah, in terms of the final decisions then that we've got to make, we could obviously gamble on O'Reilly, but I'm kind of not really feeling that as a move right now. I think for me personally, there is one player that potentially could swap on today's deadline stream, and that is it. And I'm quite happy that we're in a position where it's only one player, because yesterday I was like frantically rebuilding drafts, putting different players in, trying different things. So I think the only player that we maybe could swap would be Ethan Ampadu. Ampadu would either come in, like the two guys on the bench are a prime example. Weaver, Scott, Ampadu, and then I think the final one is Enzo. Like, they're the midfielders that I'm realistically looking for. I'm not 100% keen on DCL. However, he does fit the player profile that I do usually look for. However, I'm not feeling strikers at the moment. So I'd rather go for this 5-3-2 setup. It's, again, like I said, that final midfield spot that I've really got to pick from. Ampadu, Weaver, Scott, or Enzo are probably the four that I'm looking at. Maybe there's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head, but realistically, those are the four players that I am looking at for that final spot. In terms of points per game, Ampadu and Viva are very close. Scott's a little bit below that. Enzo is the top out of all of them. So yeah, if we're looking at it from just a purely points per game metric, then it is Enzo that is the pick. And I feel that one is the exciting up-chasing pick, isn't it, really? Enzo is going to be that guy because obviously the Chelsea defensive issues. Outside of that, I think maybe we just play it safe. Like, Ampadu could easily come away with two lots of DEFCON. That's fine. That could potentially be 10 points if they keep double clean sheet as well. Someone said Tavernier. I mean, Tavernier's okay, but again, I think I'm just going to play the DEFCON route. I actually genuinely think I'm going to play the DEFCON route. That was the approach that I was always going to go for. And now O'Reilly's come in, I'd like maybe just a defensive DM because we've got that attacking upside defensive pick in there. Would you go for a Chelsea trio? That's the other thing. Chelsea have been so bad for a decent amount of time, like realistically showing like relegation form. Can I trust going for 3 Chelsea players? You actually using a free hit this week, yeah? Yeah, this is my free hit active. Why using the Simeone formation? I'm using it because I do just think over the course of this week, defenders and DEFCON is going to be more overpowered. We've seen it for large parts of the season. So, yeah, why not fully hone into that strategy and go for it? I genuinely think Strauch, Hill, Senesi, Van Heck will outscore people like Pascal Gross, will outscore, these other kind of midfielders we're looking at, like a Minter and Aronson and Okafor. I do just believe they will, because one clean sheet and a bit of DEFCON, and that's a big total to go and beat. You know what I mean? That's probably like 10 or 8 points over a double game week. So yeah, that is why I've gone with this approach. Is Gomez still 1 yellow away from suspension? I believe it updated after last game. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Keep Rice. I mean, it depends. Like, Arsenal is still decent. Rice is still very decent for points per game. I mean, you could very easily see him get a DEFCON in this game. It depends what strategy you're on, mate, realistically. Triple captain Haaland, yeah, not a bad week to do it if that is one of the chips that you do have left. Arsenal game could be anything, but that Burnley game, if they are obviously still in the title race at that point, could be huge for goal difference. So, yeah, maybe Haaland racking in a few goals, you probably wouldn't see it. Hi, Tom. From a farm in the Yorkshire Dales, a mad free hit chip differential for me. Palmer cap. I don't even hate it. I genuinely don't even hate it, given the fact of Manchester United's defensive issues. So I think it could be an all right one. Again, I like to captain players all times that have penalties and decent routes to points, and Palmer has got that. So yeah, I don't mind that one. I'm thinking of going for Cherky as cap as a differential. What do you think? Again, don't hate it, but I personally probably would still prefer to go for a Haaland or a Palmer in terms of captaincy. You could wait for game week 36. By that point, though, we might potentially maybe have City like rotating, resting around a little bit. You might have Haaland all of a sudden pick up like mystery injuries. If City are completely out of that title race, FA Cup games, they might prioritise winning that, and then we actually might start to see Haaland's reduce minutes because he might just be wanting to get himself at the World Cup. Like, he's probably not going to risk, playing certain Premier League games. If he's obviously got the golden boot wrapped up, City aren't going to win the league, and their only priority is the FA Cup. I could very easily see them just going, yes, that anyone going to the World Cup, you take it easy for a few weeks. That is my only, only thing I would say on that one. Like I said, guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, make sure you are hitting that like button. It does push the stream out to more people, and that is exactly what we want today. Like I said, we're also closing in on 28,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help the channel out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Gahey probably gets 90 minutes, but O'Reilly's ability to haul makes it such a hard decision on the free here. I mean, as someone who literally said in every single video last week, Nico O'Reilly is one of the most explosive players in FPL right now. There isn't too much of a disparity in terms of their points per game as well. And actually, Gahey's numbers from a DEFCON standpoint and attacking numbers have really dwindled since he's joined... obviously, Manchester City. So for me personally, I probably would still go with Nico O'Reilly because of that big potential upside that he's got. I would not expect Gahey to score again. I don't even think Gahey maybe hits DEFCON. Maybe he gets it in the Arsenal game just because it could be a busy, proactive game. But at the same time, Arsenal aren't an attack that you fear, are they? They're just not. Haaland or Palmer for captain. Don't you think Haaland goes quiet in big games? He does, but then you've also got to factor in Burnley. So if you could get something out of the Arsenal game, I would feel pretty confident heading into the Burnley game that he could go nuclear. Yeah. As he did earlier in the season. We saw a prime example of that. Also, Tom, where did Burnley concede the most goals from? Let me have a look because I put this in my Discord group last night. Burnley goals conceded. Let's take a goosey gander at that. So, Burnley conceded the second most goal involvements to right wingers. So bodes quite well for Semenyo, and third for goal involvements to forwards. So it looks like Semenyo and Haaland will be the big players for that one. Thoughts on Ayari? I mean, his points per game aren't bad. I personally wouldn't trust anybody outside of probably Pascal Gross, though, in terms of minutes across this double game week. That is why I've kind of strayed away from any sort of Brighton attacker. I actually think it's not a bad double for Brighton and probably being a little bit overlooked. That is why I've actually gone with Van Heck, because the Tottenham game is realistically a green right now, and Chelsea are also showing pretty poor relegation form. I just don't know any of the attackers that I could confidently trust for minutes. I think Pascal Gross is fine and you know, perfectly good player, but I would not shock me if somebody like a Van Heck outscores him across this double game week. Very similar in terms of points per game, but I just think one clean sheet and a couple DEFCON is all it's going to take for Van Heck. Maybe I missed it, but why Ampadu over DCL? Yeah, so DCL's got 1 goal in 11 games, which is, it's not great, is it? And it was the most classic DCL performance against Manchester United at the weekend, where pretty much he racked up his XG, but he just isn't a natural, like, composed forward. He gets in the right spots, but I think he lacks that final killer edge that really cuts him above the rest, and that's why he's probably never kicked on at like a top level. He probably would do better at like I guarantee at like a championship level, he would be like 25 goals a season kind of level. So yeah, I've gone with the defensive contribution route. Ampadu. Also, Wolves and Bournemouth are quite susceptible to goals from centre mids. So Ampadu, I'm expecting full 90s out of both of him. I'm expecting DEFCON in at least one of those games. If he can get it in both, I very easily could see him outscoring, obviously, outscoring that. And my original play was going to be Cherky in the midfield, and it was a Leeds defender there. But yeah, we've switched things up a bit. And like I said, we've gone more that defensive contribution route. So yeah, that's what we've done for it. Nico or Cherky on the free hit. I mean, I had Cherky, and I think he could be a great option. I've just gone with Nico O'Reilly. Like I said, he is probably, for me, one of the most explosive assets within the game. This is my free hit for this week. FPL Rubber Duckies in the chat. Quack, quack. Would there be one more double game week / blank game week? There's a blank game week next week. So a lot of people are going to be playing their free hit in game week 34. That, of course, wildcarded in game week 32. So all these teams that are doubling this week will blank next week. And then there's going to be another double. Potentially, at the moment, the most likely outcome is going to be Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. The second most likely outcome is Manchester City versus Bournemouth. So there is some doubles, yes. Leeds have not scored at home in 3 games. There we go. I mean, there's just more and more ammunition to not pick DCL. Like I said, he could really do well this week. He could. Right, my model absolutely loves him and thinks he's going to be a fantastic pick. I'm just not sure that is going to be the case, and I would not shock me if Ampadu outscores him this week. Apologies, guys. I thought my mic was on mute. It wasn't. So I just blew your tabs off with me doing that. Interesting to see all the different drafts. I've gone more attacking. Fair enough. Like this is the thing. There are so many ways to play the free hit, isn't there? There are genuinely so many ways to play the free hit this game week. The reason I've gone with this approach is I do just believe DEFCON is a bit broken, a little bit overpowered. So yeah, that's why we've played it this way. A lot of people asking me, would I consider going with Enzo? He is a player that we are going to discuss a little bit in depth. Like I said, there is still there's still one position in this side that potentially is up for grabs. It is that Ampadu spot. So it's either Ampadu, Weaver, or Scott who are on the bench. And then finally, who's not in the side is going to be Enzo Fernandez. Those are the guys that I am looking at as well. They're going to be realistically the guys that I'm probably going to be focusing on this week. And I think rather than doing the coin, we're going to do a spinny wheel, and then that will probably determine who we end up with. But yeah, they're realistically the players that I am looking at for this game week. I think obviously Enzo could be a fantastic pick given United's defensive issues that they've got in terms of injuries. So yeah, he's definitely a player that has obviously crossed my mind. What positions do Spurs concede the most from? I want to say left wingers. Leave it with me and I'll find out. Where are Spurs? Tottenham versus Brighton. Yeah, Tottenham 3rd for goal involvements to left wingers, 5th for cams and CDMs, by the way. So Hinselwood, if he plays in the cam, could also be a decent option. DMs, Maybe Pascal Gross could go big again. Maybe Pascal Gross could go big again. Oh yeah, Fleming. The amount of points I'm leaving on the bench at the moment is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, it wouldn't shock me if we have a situation where yeah, we're left with like loads of points on the bench again. It wouldn't shock me. Elliot Anderson is yellow flagged because his mum has passed away. So they're a little bit unsure whether or not he will feature for the game. Would I take a hit though to replace him? Probably not. Probably not. Do Leeds, Manchester City, Chelsea, etc. have fixtures in game week 34? No. If you open up the FDR in the FPL app, you will see that they have a double game week, and you can see all this thing like they've got like a little contracty looking symbol on the top of their card in the top right. That will basically tell you that they've not got a game in the following in next game week. That's what that'll tell you. Darlow or Verbergen for a start. I think both are the standout goalkeepers you're going to get this week. I probably would back the Leeds one a little bit more. They've got a 60% probability of a double of a clean sheet across the double. So yeah, that's probably where my head would be at. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. If you do want to put a question, obviously I know you've left it blank. Please do feel free to, and we'll get around to answering it for you as well. There's your question. Cherky, Ampadu, Tavernier, DCL, a 5-4-1 with Zhao, or a 5-4-1 with Zhao. Is that what you're asking? Let me know. Is that the question you're asking? Would you so you want Cherky over Ampadu, Tavernier over DCL, and a 5-4-1 with João Pedro? I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's not the worst idea in the world, but then you're dropping Haaland, aren't you, realistically? And for me personally, I'm not going to take on Haaland this week. I'm just not. Welbeck or Van Heck? I doubt that Welbeck is going to play both games, so I probably would go Van Heck. Yeah, probably would go Van Heck this week. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to ask me ahead of the deadline? Let's see if we can get this stream up to 50 likes nice and early as well. So if you haven't already, make sure you are hitting that like button. It is really appreciated as always. If you want your team reviewing, like I said, come over to the FPL Cartel. That is where we do all of our team reviews. And yeah, there we go. There we go. No worries, mate. No worries. Will it be wise move? Donna, Doku, Haaland. I mean, Donnarumma, I'm not a big fan of goalkeepers, especially wasting a City spot with such an exciting double on a goalkeeper. Not the play for me. Jeremy Doku, I mean, if you've been around this channel for a long time, you know that he ain't that guy, and I really don't like him. So yeah, there's my opinions on the other ones. Obviously, Haaland in my side, so you can guarantee what my opinion is on him. Cheese on toast or beans on toast, or I'm going cheese. This is a controversial opinion here. I don't like dry touching wet. So if I have beans on toast, I will have the beans, and I will then have the like toast on the side. I can't have them touching. It's controversial, I know, but I can't have it. I just can't have it. What team tool do you use? It's a website called XG Stat. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm not paid by them. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it is a really good website. One of my favorites that I've been using this year for obviously content and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Shall I sell Minter? Yeah, it looks Minter or Matoma. You put like Mitt, so it could be any of them. Let me know which one you're thinking. Doku is a less hench Adama Traore. 100% agree. Shall I sell Matoma? Yeah, I probably would. You could either look to go back into another Brighton midfielder. I think what a lot of people are doing is going into Enzo Fernandez. I've seen that quite a popular move over on social, so that could be the way that you realistically go for it. Using triple captain this week is better than risking it in 36 because already bench boost is used. Yeah, I think if that's the chip you've got left, then go for it. Go for it, mate. Yeah, it doesn't melt as good. I picked Mateus Nunes over Nico O'Reilly. fair enough. I mean, I can probably put safe money on Mateus Nunes playing both games. I don't think I can probably put safe money on Nico O'Reilly playing both. But Nico O'Reilly probably doesn't need both to go really big, does he? He is just an absolute unit. He genuinely is just an absolute unit. Do keep your questions coming in. Let's take a look at the model then. Let's head over to the model and show you guys what it has got for this game week. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. So these are the top projected points for this game week. Yeah, here they are. As you can see, Haaland obviously top for the week with 13.7. Semenyo then in second with 11. Mark Gahey at 9.6. João Pedro at 9.2. Palmer at 9.1. Nico O'Reilly's obviously up there with 9. Mateus Nunes, look at that. Look how tight that is. Someone was comparing them to in the chat then. Look how tight that is. O'Reilly at 9. Mateus Nunes at 8.9. Pascal Gross at 8.8. Senesi at 8.6. And then finally, Calvert-Lewin at 8.5. Yeah, so some interesting ones this week. Obviously, if you want to come and access the FPL Tom model, let me put the FPL Cartel link in the description. Obviously, alongside just getting your team reviewed in these deadline streams, there are so many other benefits that do come with it. And one of these is getting access to the model, which is pretty good. Tom, 4-3-3 or 5-3-2, which one is the best? I mean, it's all dependent on how you feel about the strategy. For me personally, I'm going with the 5-back just because I think it could be decent. But I think obviously the 5-back did get a little bit diminished by the Leeds press conference. So, you know, Rodon maybe being back, probably Mud's picks like Justin, Bijol, probably kills them off as options in my personal opinion. If we head over to Twitter as well, let me get this one up. Let me head over to Twitter. If you don't already, make sure you are following me over on Twitter. We've been posting some other alternative drafts heading into this game week as well. So this is the ultra defense one that I have looked at. And now this is a 5-back with 3 City players in there as well. As you can see, very DEFCON orientated in the midfield as well. Ampadu, Scott, Weaver, Palmer's in there, and João Pedro's in there. So this is a little bit of a alternative one that we have been looking at. Obviously, you know, it's scary taking on Semenyo and I think Haaland. And I personally probably wouldn't go for it. But again, it's going to be interesting to see how these other different strategies do play out across the game week. But yeah, that is another option I have considered. Probably around like 1% in my head that I would end up with this. Yeah. We'd have to get like news that like Semenyo and Haaland are out today for me realistically to consider this sort of like strategy. What other ones have we got? We've obviously got my models. This is my models team. So the best points, predicted points from my model. So it's got Verbergen in goal, Mark Gahey, Senesi, Truffert over Hill, Van Heck. Then it's got Pascal Gross, Palmer, Semenyo, João Pedro, Calvert-Lewin, and Erling Haaland. So yeah, there you go. If you are looking for obviously a more model-orientated free hit draft, this is what my model has come up with for this game week. Petrovic, Enzo, Aronson, and Bijol on the bench as well. So yeah, that's the models pick for this week. And we do have a separate model team, so we'll be able to see how this team gets on. And we've also now got a tracker in the model as well. So it obviously we can look back at stuff like this and see how well this team got on. So yeah, there's the model pick for this game week. What other ones have I had? This is what a DEFCON kind of eccentric draft would look like. So we've got Darlow, we've got Hill, Senesi, Strauch, Bijol, Gahey, Rodri, who's actually going a little bit under the radar, I feel. Not getting as much heat as I was expecting, but I think with City, you do have so many great picks to really go for that maybe Rodri probably isn't the one that's getting as much heat. Scott, Weaver, and then up front is going to be João Pedro and Haaland. Like I said, this one is full tilt DEFCON. Full tilt DEFCON. So yeah, that's that strategy. It is, again, I don't expect anybody to probably look at this one. But again, I'm just trying to give you guys different ideas on maybe how to play the game. I think this free hit can work in a multitude of different ways. You could go full out attack, you could go for the DCLs, you could go for the Enzos, maybe a gamble on a Brighton attacker, maybe gamble on a Leeds attacker, Okafor, Aronson. Not bad players for points per game as well. So yeah, you could also look at it from this aspect. What is my other draft? I think there's one more draft. So this is the one I've been on most of the week. Darlow, Hill, Senesi, Strauch, Bijol, Van Heck, Cherky, Palmer, Semenyo, João Pedro, Haaland. This is the draft, like I said, that I've been sat on for most of the week. But obviously with that Rodon news and the Nico Riley stuff, it has made me pivot to the current draft we've got. But this is pretty much being the structure that I've been on for most of the week. If you saw my team selection video, which went out on Wednesday morning, we showed off this team. We showcased this team. And that is where I've been for large parts of the week. This is where my head has been with this sort of setup. A back five, and then kind of looking to go for it a little bit in attack. But obviously now we have tweaked things around a little bit. So, yeah, if I bring up my side again, you will be able to see it. Here it is. As you can see, we have obviously tweaked a few things. We brought in Nico O'Reilly for Bijol, and then we've still kept that defensive contribution kind of route, and then brought in Ampadu. But like I said, that position is still up for grabs. We're going to do a spinny wheel on it. Ampadu, Weaver, Scott, Enzo. But yeah, very much fully DEFCON orientated at the back, isn't it? I'm torn between the safer Gross and Gomez, more of an eye test vibe. I mean, if you're feeling it from an eye test perspective, then go with Gomez. I think from a points per game perspective, you probably are going to be better off going with Pascal Gross. But again, Gomez just needs a little bit of something, and it could be absolutely mega. I think whoever's playing on the left, which looks likely to be Minter for this game week, well, at least for the Spurs game, could be big. That is where Spurs are conceding most of their goal involvements from. The interview seems pretty standard. Yeah, it's just the way he went. There could be some surprises. That was the kind of line where I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna risk going Bijol, kind of just for that vibe. Like, he could play both. Very easily could play both. I'm not outruling that. And you know what? We could still take it on. We could still definitely take it on. It is something to think about. So yeah, we definitely could take it on still. But I just think Nico Riley, Cherky, again, maybe that's one for the coin to decide, and then obviously off the back of that decides what strategy we end up looking at. Why is nobody talking about Okafor and replacing Bruno with him for 3 weeks? I personally wouldn't do that. Bruno is the best captain next week, by the way. So yeah, I personally wouldn't go for that. Okafor, though, is a decent option. His minutes, he plays about 70. He does play about 70 minutes. That is the only problem, isn't it? Jamie has said, let's go. Hey, Tom. Good morning, man. Hope you're doing good. Van Heck or Kadioglu. I personally would go Van Heck. I think, just the defensive contribution numbers around like a 36% strike rate. So I guarantee he hits it once. Wouldn't shock me if they keep a clean sheet, probably against Tottenham. So yeah, that's where my head would be at with that one. I just need to grab my laptop charger. I forgot to plug it in. 1 second. Right, laptop is juiced up. I'm free hitting with Bruno Cap. Fair. I mean, I'd still want Bruno longer term anyway. I'd still want him against Liverpool. What about DCL captain? I mean, I'm just going to say 1 attacking return in 11 games. There you go. Is Enzo worth the risk as a differential, or should I go for a 4th defender, somebody from Leeds perhaps, or Alex Scott? Again, I'm in that same kind of spot in terms of, do I gamble on Enzo Fernandez? I think he could be a very, very good option this game week. Obviously, Manchester United having their defensive issues, so could be the pick. Could be the pick. Thoughts on Hinchelwood? Yeah, I think no player has created more underlying XG in the past 6 or 7 game weeks. I think I read that somewhere yesterday. Why Strauch over Bijol? Bijol has better DEFCON. If any chance that Joe Rodon maybe gets back for that Bournemouth game, or even the Wolves game, then Bijol potentially could be dropped. We have seen it before, and they've stuck Justin at centre-back. So yeah, that is why I've just kind of not risk, like, you know, not going for the risky pick. I'm just going for Pascal Struijk. Oh, 100%. Enzo's straight back in, isn't he? Why not Scott over Ampadu? Better DC and attacking threat. Again, this is the thing. We're going to let the spinny wheel, I think, ultimately decide what pick we end up with. I like both of them. I think both are pretty decent options to potentially consider heading into this game week. Ampadu has better strike rates and better points per game than Scott. So that is why he's currently worked his team in there. João Pedro or DCL if you can lose one. I would probably prefer to lose DCL. At 400k overall, Captain O'Reilly to chase top 100k. I'm a little bit uncertain whether or not O'Reilly plays both games, so probably not. I mean, I'm going for O'Reilly just because I do think he's probably the most explosive pick in the game, but Cherky could also be great. Palmer captain, I don't mind heading into this game week, given the United injuries defensively as well. Your thoughts on Thiago to Calvert-Lewin this week? I mean, you get a double game weeker in. The Wolves fixture alone is probably worth that gamble. So, yeah, I probably would take it. Yeah, I probably would sell Matoma. I think he was in like 0% of the jump the wave predictions. We can show those off as well for you. It's not even a 0-0 in most games. The reason I'm going for the back five is just constant DEFCON points. Like, you know what I mean? If everybody hits DEFCON twice, which isn't out of the realms of possibility here with Senesi, Strauch, Hill, Van Heck, if they hit that twice, one clean sheet, then yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything. Fogger's press conference suggests that it's more than 25%. More than 25%. I think, look, speaking to some Leeds fans, they do think, you know, Bijol might just play both games 100%. But I'm not, I think I'd rather just play it safe, not risk it. So yeah, that is why we've gone with this approach rather than the triple up. Jamie's not got his Palmer on the free hit. I mean, you are the most anti-Palmer person I do know. So that one doesn't shock me. But, I mean, I think this week you kind of have to, right, Jamie? Like, he's definitely going to get some dodgy penalty decision, isn't he? He just is. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button. We are on that road to 30,000 subscribers. We could hit 28 today. So if you're enjoying the content, of course, as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're liking. Team reviews over in the FPL cartel if you want to get yourself involved in that. Nope, don't have my bench boost. Well, I do have my bench boost, but we're going with an alternative strategy on that. So, yeah. Why you need doublers on your bench with a free hit in case nobody plays? Like, in case there's a game that's postponed for whatever reason, I still have coverage. I mean, yeah, you still want to be covered, don't you? O'Reilly or Palmer cap? Probably Palmer cap is where I would sit on that one. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to know ahead of the deadline, do let me know. We'll try and obviously keep you covered with all the team news. If we get any before the deadline, maybe we might get a City League at some point. Maybe just keep your eyes on like Andy stream and stuff like that. Yeah, there probably will be some sort of City League heading into this week. But yeah, an exciting double game week. An exciting double game week. So you're probably going to then wildcard this week, free hit next week, and then look to probably go like bench boost 36. Ha! Hey mate, I'm not gambling on DCL. DCL ain't in my side. Bogle or Goodmanson as a gamble on a free hit. Probably would go Goodmanson. Again, speaking to some Leeds fans, there isn't really anybody that can play on the left. So, yeah, he probably would be the one. Have free transfers. Sell free among Dango, Wilson, Anderson, Cash, Mook. Personally, probably would like with Anderson maybe being flagged, might be the one to potentially to go this week. I think Dango's also probably one you could get rid of. Is Gahey safer than O'Reilly? He is, but at the same time, O'Reilly is, as we saw last week, one of the most nuclear players within this game, and at any point can hit those big double-digit hauls. So that would scare me if I wasn't backing, Nico O'Reilly. Like I said, we could take it on this week. We could maybe look at Cherky and take on Nico O'Reilly. It is a possibility. But I just, again, I'm flashing my mind back to last week. I benched the Nico O'Reilly points, which really hurt. So, yeah. Personally wouldn't, consider it. Yo, bro, wildcard this game week with a TC free hit, bench boost left. Darlow, Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, Bijol, O'Reilly, Hill. Yeah. Looks fine. Looks fine. Hey, Tom, need a couple of answers before I hit uni. Start 2 of Gross, Scott, Tav, and start 1 of Hill, Senesi, or only one of those. I mean, I'd be tempted to start all of those. Hill, Senesi, Gahey, and O'Reilly, I would want all of them to play. I think all are fantastic options heading into this game week. I really, really do. If I had to pick between Gross, Scott, and Tav, probably would go Gross and Scott. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. The problem is I can't really predict the Brighton midfielders' minutes over the next 2 games. They could be absolutely anywhere. Nico O'Reilly is not bad. Like, my points per game model actually does like Nico O'Reilly, so it might not be a terrible option. Elliot Anderson is flagged because his mum has passed away, so potentially might not be featuring. Yeah, I would transfer out Matoma. You could either look to go for another double game week player, but I think the popular move that, people are looking at is maybe like an Enzo Fernandez. So yeah, there you go. An Enzo Fernandez. DQ likes coming in on today's stream, guys. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button as well. Obviously, we'll help you guys out as best as we possibly can. Bogle. I mean, Bogle is playing as a right winger. Again, though, there might be that doubt around if Rodon, for example, is going to be back. Then again, one of those guys probably does drop. So yeah. That is the concern. That is the concern. How nailed? I think. Look, I think Bijol probably does maybe play both games, but there is still that doubt in my mind that if Rodon suddenly gets fit, he would just be straight back in. This is the thing. You have clearly never experienced Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The guy literally farms underlying data for a living. The guy, genuinely, he just farms it. Just keeps hoarding it in every single week, and still manages to come away with 0 attacking returns. It's literally what he does every single week. Every single week. Go Okafor and O'Reilly, or go Cherky and Strauch. I mean, first option is upside Chase. Realistically, I think that could be both could be massive. That could be huge. I do like option number 1. And if you are a little bit further back, could be the play to maybe go for. I also like Cherky Strauch, though, could also be pretty sensible. It depends on your risk appetite, I would say, with that one. If you're a little bit more of a risky player, probably go Okafor and O'Reilly. If you're more of a safe, you want to conserve your rank a little bit, Cherky and Strauch probably would be the ones. Probably not worth it. I mean, you've got the 5, so you maybe could get back to it, but yeah, probably not. Probably not. There's over 250 of you in today's stream, so if you haven't already, make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you are hitting subscribe as well. Today could be the day that we clinch up 28,000 subscribers, which is absolutely mental, by the way. So thank you for all your support. What are your thoughts on Gomez from Brighton? I mean, he looks all right, but again, he just looks all right. Trying to pick one of the Brighton attackers is going to be extremely difficult, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I'm probably just going to maybe stay clear from it. Yeah, they have. But then if you go back before and look at other games, you've also seen they've played a back three and Bijol hasn't been included. So it's kind of one of those where, yes, he's been a good defender, but I'm just not risking it. I'm just personally not going to risk it. Like, I've got the free hit. I might as well pick players that I'm 100% confident in. So Strauch, Ampadu, Darlow probably play very good minutes across all of the games. Yeah, again, Bogle could be the big upside chasing pick. He genuinely could be and could absolutely smash it. He really, really could. Genuinely good. I don't even think I'd go for Welbeck either. I genuinely wouldn't go for Welbeck either. Looking at the poll, 76% of you are going for Haaland cap, 12% on Palmer, 7% on Semenyo, 6% on other. Yeah, Haaland's effective ownership this week is going to be absolutely frightening. So yeah, that could be a scary one. Yeah, I don't think Welbeck starts either game. I mean, if you're on a free hit, I mean, you might have to just firm it and just take a mine. Like, we might just be firming it and just going, we're probably going to miss out on 10 points this week to bench boosters. Like, I'm fully ready to firm a red arrow this week, by the way. Yeah, I'm fully ready for it. Yeah, that is also a thing with the Leeds players, is if they beat Wolves, they might rotate ahead of the FA Cup. Ampadu has played pretty much every game he's been fit and available. Same with Pascal Strauch. Darlow as well will also play. So again, that for me probably gives me enough confidence to suggest that all of them are going to play. Oh, 100%. Like the mins are going to be definitely suspect. And his PPG isn't great. It's not great, to say the least. But yeah, I understand your concerns. That is probably why I'd be a little bit more hesitant on some of the attackers. Like, but if you look at Ampadu, he literally does just roll out every single week and is so crucial to their game. So I think he'll probably play pretty much most minutes. We've had a team sent into the FPL cartel, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Obviously, if you want to get yourself involved, I will put the link into the chat. But yeah, get yourself involved in here. This is where you can come and get your team rated by me. So we've had a team sent in and they've said, this is my free hit team and I'm currently around 600k and want to gain some rank and spots in my mini league. So I choose to go with Cherky instead of Semenyo. I've seen people recommending Strout, but Bijol has got them better points. Yeah, again, we've just been speaking about Bijol, obviously. Don't know if anyone else I should do. Should I captain band someone else other than Haaland to game rank? But I think it's going to be a big in this double game week. Should I start Enzo, but for who? Right. I would actually probably, if you want to really go big, I would go Enzo ahead of Tavernier. I think that's the first thing I would do. Bijol could very easily play both games, and his DEFCON numbers are definitely better than Pascal Strauch's. But again, we've just been obviously speaking about Bijol and what we think he maybe could potentially see some sort of rotation. So I personally wouldn't risk it and would probably just sling in Strauch anyway. Enzo would go in ahead of Tavernier if you're really looking for it. And personally, if you feel like Haaland is going to do well, then don't sway away from that captaincy decision, in my personal opinion. You're probably going to lose more rank if he goes off big and you're trying to chase than, trying to just gain some advantage with like an Enzo, maybe some of these other defensive picks. That's probably realistically where you're going to gain a little bit more advantage from. So yeah, that's personally how I would look at it. Yeah, we can show that. We'll show that in a second. We'll run through the lineup percentages. I want to have Turkey in my team. Who should I go for without Haaland, Semenyo, or O'Reilly? I do probably believe it is Semenyo or O'Reilly. If you're unsure about O'Reilly, then maybe then you go there. Turkey, go that triple attack. Semenyo obviously has been a little bit frustrating in recent weeks. However, Burnley are second in the league for goals conceded to right wingers, so he could go big in that fixture. Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Tavernier? I want to play Enzo this week. I probably would go DCL ahead of Tavernier if I had to pick. Yeah, probably would. Bijol came close with some headers. I mean, all this talk, isn't it? And now I guarantee Bijol ends up coming away and Strout gets rotated. After all of this discussion, it is fully going to happen. Should I go Gross or Gomez as cover for Welbeck since I went DCL, João Pedro, and Erling? Hey, should I go Gross? Probably Gross would be the one. I have one free transfer and bench boost active. Should I sell Gabriel for Senesi or not? I personally wouldn't. I think, Gabriel is still a fine option to maybe consider as well. So, yeah, probably wouldn't do it. Hi, Tom. Double City defense, Gahey and O'Reilly viable on a wild card? Definitely viable on a wild card. Who would you recommend, Bogle or Bijol? I mean, Bogle is playing as a right winger. He is. Bijol, better DEFCON numbers. So it's kind of one of those, what camp do you sit in? What camp do you sit in, really? Are you more a defensive contribution guy, or are you more a attacking threat kind of guy? That's how I would realistically look at it, and kind of that's the decision that you've got to make around that. Reasoning for a back five, I really don't fancy any of the midfielders. I genuinely think that these guys defensively could outscore most of the midfielders this week that people are talking about. Your Okafors, your Aronsons, your Taverniers, your Pascal Grosses. I feel more confident that my back five outscores most of those. So, yeah. I mean, I would have loved Chalobah if he was fit and available for this double game week because, again, his PPG is insane and he's also a DEFCON beast. But there's still some doubts around him, so we're probably not going to go for him. But, yeah, he would also be a very, very nice one I would have liked to have had. Do get your questions come in. Jamie's on the back five as well. Yeah, back five this week. You know what I mean? Some prime Arteta ball here. It really is some prime Arteta ball. Prime Arteta ball. Right, let's head over to Twitter and let's run through the jump the wave predictions. Let's have a look. Jump. Here we go. So this is the Arsenal one. Rice 100%, Gabriel 100%. So yeah, pretty standard stuff. Villa, if anybody's got any Villa players, Rodgers is at 100%. Watkins also at 100%. Brighton, here's the big one. Verbergen 100%. Van Heck 100%. Kadioglu 100%. Wiefer, Hinselwood both at 100%. Iori at 88%. Gomez at 100%. Pascal Gross at 100%. Minter at 100%. Mitoma, for those that do have him, down at 0%. And Welbeck also at 100% for this game week. Then Gusto at 90 for Farner at 100. Cook at 100. Caicedo at 100. Enzo at 100. Neto at 100. Palmer, João Pedro also at 100 as well. Liverpool, Isaac at 30. Salah at 100. Szoboszlai at 100. Verge at 100. City, Nunez at 100. Kuzanov at 100. I don't know why, but there's a small percentage for Donnarumma. I don't know what someone maybe for Trafford. Maybe someone might have some sort of information. So that's a interesting one. O'Reilly at 100, Rodri at 100, Semenyo at 100, Cherky at 100, and Haaland at 100. United, obviously that back line looking absolutely crazy. Lenny Yoro has been ruled out. So it's probably going to be like Maswari, Delo, Shaw, maybe Aiden Heaven. Bruno, obviously, at 100%. Newcastle, I was shocked to see Gordon at 100%, especially after Howe's comments, but you never know. Bruno G could also be quite big this week. Bournemouth's main area for goals conceded is from centre mids. Yeah, Bruno G could be one of those, if he is back, could be massive. Spurs, again, some pretty shaky defensive looking lineups there, so maybe could bode well for you lads with the Brighton ones to potentially consider. There you go. Obviously, make sure you go and following Emma over on Twitter. Some great work that is put together every single week for the Jump the Wave predictions. Cherky or Semenyo? I'm personally going with Semenyo. I think just higher EO. He is very, very good. I think 4th best player in the league for points per game. So yeah. Darlow, Gahey, Senesi, Bogle, Gibbs, White. I mean, yeah. Casemiro could drop into centre back alongside. Yep. No lineup for Leeds. Nope, they don't have anything for Leeds. Nothing for Leeds. There's the FPL Meerkat ones that they do that he does for all the sides, and he's done the double game weeks. So yeah, that's what we've got. But yeah, Jump the Wave never does the Leeds ones. Never does Leeds ones. If I cast my mind back correctly, it was pretty much the same lineup that went out against Manchester United. So yeah, there you go. Make of that what you will. People asking me about Wino Bijol. Again, the comments around Rodon maybe being like surprised all of a sudden, like, oh, he could be back. Like he's not said that. He's not back with the team training, but this was from 2 days ago. And he said, we've still got 2 days. We never know. There might be a surprise in the group. That was enough for me to go, yeah, I ain't touching Bijol, who has been dropped in previous games, by the way, whereas Strauch hasn't. So I'm just not risking it. Look, if you want to go Bijol, his DEFCON numbers are great. No doubt in my mind. And I think he could be a very, very good player. But for me, I'm probably playing the safer pick, and I'm just going to go with Pascal Stroke. That's kind of where my head is at with that one. I probably would go with Scott. Again, I'm leaning more towards the DEFCON route this week. I am leaning more towards the DEFCON. And I think with Krupi continuing to score, probably plays both games, probably starts both games. So he's probably going to have, majority of the penalty share across the double game week as well. People asking for a coin toss. Pascal Gross or Gomez. We've got heads is going to be Gross. Tails is going to be Gomez. Tails it is. So who would have better mins, Bijol, Bogle, or Goodmanson? Again, I genuinely don't really know who will have the best mins out of those guys. I honestly couldn't call it. I think Bijol will probably have the best. But I could be wrong on that. Goodmanson, they can play Justin on the left, but at the same time, Goodmanson could play both games. He's just come back from a lengthy injury, though. It's kind of one of those, isn't it? It's so difficult to say because Bijol was a bit of a doubt heading into game week 32. There was some, I was reading that he was a little bit of a doubt for that one. So maybe again, did they play him quick succession games or did they play him in the FA Cup? There is so much rotation where I personally I'm just going to go Pascal Strauch. Yeah. Who should I pick for last man standing? I mean, Leeds might be a decent bet to go for this week, right? Or Forest. Leeds or Forest are probably your picks. Yeah, both Leeds and Forest are pretty decent picks heading into this game week. Let's have a look where we're at in terms of subs. Where are we at? Yeah, if you're enjoying the content, like I said, guys, make sure you are hitting that like button. It is really, really appreciated. Obviously, if you're new to the channel as well, make sure you're hitting subscribe. Again, really appreciated. We're on that road to 28,000 subscribers. And as always, we need all the help we can get. Yeah, we've had a little bit of a chat about O'Reilly and Cherky this week. I've just gone with O'Reilly because I do believe the positions that he gets into, he is the most explosive asset within the game. And that is why I've gone with Nico O'Reilly. If Rodon comes in, where will Bogle play? Bogle will still potentially be on the right, but they might then put Justin on the right. Like, this is the thing. There's so much that could happen if he is back. Could I go triple Leeds defence and Hinchelwood instead? You could. Nothing's stopping you. Fair. If you can get him back in, then fair enough. Like game week 34, you got him on the free hit. So, yeah, I guess it's just dependent on how much value you've built into Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, has received quite a lot of price changes, so do be wary of that. Oh, mate, let's hope for a 100-plus point week. Let's hope for it, man. Yeah, let's hope for it. Would you rather Palmer or Nico cap? I always like to captain players that have some sort of penalty share. So yeah, I personally would go with Palmer for that one. Does Stroud take pens as well when no DCL? Yes. So if DCL is rotated or rested at any point during this, Stroud will probably step up and take the penalty. So also a nice thing to maybe have. This is the thing. You don't need to have it. You genuinely, you could match their team identically. You really, really could. And I feel like it's probably got a little bit harder to go against them as well because of obviously O'Reilly being back fit. So everyone's going to have the same City free, I imagine, unless they're taking a gamble on Cherky. I do just probably believe it is going to be like one spot maybe where you're gambling ahead of free hitters, and you got to hope that's the spot that really does cook up. Like I said, guys, the team reviews will be done over in the FPL Cartel Discord. If you want to come and get yourself involved in there, there is a link in the description for that one. We've had a super chat though. Hey mate, on a bench boost with free transfers, Rice and Gordon out for two of Palmer, Enzo, Scott, Gross, Weaver. Could do Bow into Pedro too. I don't mind all three of those. If you've got the free hit next week as well, that could be a really, really powerful bench boost, couldn't it? Yeah. Which midfielders would I select? I think I would go Palmer. I would also be tempted to do the João Pedro move. Then I guess it's a debate of, do you think Chelsea are going to be good enough to win both games and Enzo have a big enough impact? If you're looking for a DEFCON guy, Scott or Weaver are probably going to be there for, the Gardner replacements. So they're nice swap outs. And then Pascal Gross is top on my model in terms of Brighton mids. So if you want to look down that route, that could also be one. I personally, for me, would definitely lock in Palmer and Pedro. I think they would be great additions to the bench boost. And then I guess it's kind of do you go the DEFCON route? Scott, Weaver, very, very similar numbers in terms of defensive contribution. Scott probably a little bit more, a little bit more attacking because he's got some set piece share. Enzo could be absolutely mega this week. Could be a flop. We've seen him be very, very inconsistent. So yeah, that could also be one. But yeah, I think definitely locked in would be Palmer and Pedro. Then I'm probably, like I said, it's up to you, your personal preference. Do you go DEFCON or do you try and attack the fixtures? I mean, two differentials. I think probably Enzo and Cherky are probably going to be the guys then, aren't they, realistically? Like, they're the two that could go big this week and are probably the differentials. They're probably the ones that you look at in terms of differential ability this week. Why are teams including Trofea? Trofea actually has better points per game than Hill. So yeah, there you go. Jamie is so anti-Palmer as well. You're so anti-Palmer, aren't you? DCL captain wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Look, he's got penalties. His min should be fine, but it's DCL. Genuinely go and watch how many chances he had against United. The guy just doesn't, he's just not consistent enough. Why? I might as well try and get the double game week players. If you want to get your team reviewed, head over to the FPL Cartel Discord. Let me put the link in the chat. There it is. I did have triple Leeds defense, but again, just if Rodon does come back for either of the games, somebody misses out. I can't confidently say who that somebody would be, so I maybe would just go Calvert-Lewin there. I mean, points per game, penalties. There is a bit of data to go with him. There is a bit of data to go with him. You're always going to take a penalty taker, aren't you? In a double game week, you are always going to take a guy who is a penalty taker, in my opinion. That's just how I see it. I think you're always going to take a guy who is a penalty taker. Ha! He's cooked. He's cooked. I mean, Jamie, you could be right. We could all be sat here next week coming back and, yeah, we're all like, oh, Jamie was a genius, wasn't he? An absolute genius. Right, I think, we've got about an hour till we finish up things today. Let's lock in who that midfield spot is going to be. We're going to get a spinny wheel going. Spinny wheel. Let's get a wheel name going. Probably best doing it on this one, maybe? Yeah, that one's all right. Just hopefully no like porn pop-ups come up on that left-hand side. As you can tell, this was one from the UCL week. So who have we got? Who have we got that can go in this spinny wheel? We have got Ampadu. We have got Weefer. We have got Scott. And finally, we have Enzo. Right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Here we go. So we've got Scott, Weefer, Ampadu, Enzo, all on the spinny wheel. Let's see who we end up with. Here we go. Oh, Scott is the spinny wheels pick. There you go. Scott is the spinny wheels pick, ladies and gentlemen. Am I going to play him? I'm still leaning more towards my Ampadu. I am genuinely still leaning more towards my Ampadu. But yeah, Scott is the spinny wheels pick. There you go. Abby's in the chat. Obviously one of our members on the channel, and she's also a member of the FPL Cartel, and now an admin in the FPL Cartel as well. So big shout out to Abby. Again, like I said, not only do you get myself and Tom, you also get a good group of very intelligent, very smart FPL managers as well. Hinselwood or Tavernier? Ooh. Maybe Tav? I mean, Hinselwood's underlying numbers haven't been bad for the past few game weeks. So, yeah. Are you playing DEFCON only? Pretty much, yeah. We're looking to slam DEFCON out the park here. That is the route we are going for. Would you take Truffert over Hill and Scott over Senesi? Probably not. Why not Rayan? Hasn't done anything for weeks. Genuinely hasn't done anything for weeks. Mavropanos or Nico Williams? I mean, obviously Nico Williams is going to have the better clean sheet numbers this week, and his points per game aren't terrible. Mavropanos is going to be more your DEFCON guy, and I mean, Palace were on the piss the other night, so maybe you might be able to get something out of that. What are your thoughts on Aronson from Leeds? Yeah, I mean, again, points per game, he is very, very well liked by my model. Second in terms of its predicted points for this game week. So, yeah, it's DCL and him. What's my opinion on Bijol? I do like Bijol, and he has been in a draft. The problem is, again, anytime, like, if Rodon is going to, like, just appear for the Wolves game, I really can't tell you who's going to be, dropping out of that side. It could be anyone from Goodmanson, Bijol, Bogle, Justin. It could be any of those names. So I think rather than kind of try and take that on. I would rather just go sensible. Let's go Strauch. I know he's going to play every single minute. What's the big appeal of Gomez this week, Abby? Talk to me. Talk to me. What's the big appeal? What's the big appeal? Scott or Tavernier? I mean, I like both. I do like both. I do like both. I don't know if he would. We've seen like different Leeds lineups. Like I've had a good look through. I've asked some very like knowledgeable Leeds fans as well who go pretty much home and away. And again, they're not of that opinion. Falker didn't say he's back. He said him, Stack, and that aren't back in team training. However, there's always, he said, like, we might get a nice surprise. We might get a negative surprise ahead of the Wolves game. You don't know. He was always rumored to be back around the semi-final game anyway. So maybe he gets some minutes in the tank for Bournemouth. Maybe this is it. This is it. Let's take a look then at the mid spot on my model and see what it has got for this game week in terms of predicted points. Who is going to be the midfielders that the model is looking for? Let's have a double game week. Select all. Move that to mids. Who's it got? Who's it got top of the tree? Obviously looking at Semenyo, Palmer, Pascal Gross, Foden, Cherky, Tavernier, Weaver, Rayan up there. Like I wasn't feeling Rayan, but apparently he is up there. Enzo Fernandez, Aronson, Minter, Ayori, Ampadu, Scott, Gomez. Obviously, people are looking at Gomez as well. Okafor, Adams. Like, yeah, this is kind of where it is. Hinshelwood, by the way, all the way down here. Quite a big drop off for that one. But yeah, it's very tight within this category, isn't it, really? You've obviously got Semenyo clear, Palmer and Gross pretty close to that. Then you've got, like, I would say from about Cherky all the way down to Gomez and Okafor. There really isn't much in it in terms of predicted points for this game week, is there? Yeah, yeah, I understand that. I do understand that. I can see why. I can see why you've said that, Abby. Let's have a look. Maybe we're going to get drawn into the Gomez. Maybe we're going to get drawn into the Gomez. 5 goals, 1 assist. What's his mins been like? I mean, the mins haven't been terrible, have they? They haven't been terrible. I'm still not going to go for it, though. I'm sticking with this DEFCON route. But yeah, here are the predicted points from my model for this game week in terms of midfielders. And like I said, there is a wide array of players that are very, very close this game week. There could be minimal attacking gains that could really, really go on to split the two. So, yeah. Ayori better than Gomez. I mean, according to this, yeah. There we go. Oh, 100%. 100%. If you look as well at Wolves and Bournemouth's key areas of like goal involvements conceded, it's centre mids. I'm just saying. Ampadu could be that guy. He could be that guy that goes big this week. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling pretty confident on the Ampadu one. I was hoping he came out on the spinny wheel. So I think that is where my head is at in terms of the pick for this week. He's going to be the pick for this week, I think. I genuinely don't think we're going to change anything. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lovely surprise. A genuine lovely surprise, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, hopefully we can get a nice Ampadu. Like, oh my, like if this defense, everybody here keeps cleans. Like a Leeds Bournemouth 0-0. Yeah. Oh, it's fully going to be someone random, isn't it? It is fully going to be someone random. I mean, it was the same last week with the Brighton ones. Abby was the only person that I know that pretty much had Vifa. Everybody kind of had, Pascal Gross, who got an assist. Hinshelwood was also discussed, Matoma. And then it was obviously Vifa that came away with a big one. Yeah, agreed. I think it was either him or like Enzo. I was kind of hoping. Like it was kind of like that's the confirmation bias I need to pick Enzo. Otherwise, I would rather have Ampadu. It landed on Scott, by the way, so we'll see what happens. Gross or Enzo over the next two. I mean, Gross is, like I said, very high up on my model, but there isn't too much to really split between him and Enzo this week. I think if you are definitely looking for a differential, Enzo probably is going to be the man. I personally would, yeah, I know you're saying Marmouche is available, but Haaland, like, if they're in a title race here, they need goal involvement. Haaland will start the Burnley game. I mean, a little bit. Haaland's minutes are definitely probably a little bit more dependent on if they win that Arsenal game, or even if they draw it. If they draw it, they could still be, very much within this title race. Very much within this title race. It's going to be weird, like, having no players in the first game. Like, everybody's kind of, like, just in a few pockets of games, isn't it, really? Obviously, Leeds, Wolves, Tottenham, Brighton. And then I've got to wait for my next game is, like, Sunday? Oh, no, we got the Chelsea game as well. But, yeah. There we go. Tav, Weaver, Scott, Gross, Enzo, pick one. Honestly, all are very, very good options heading into this game week. Weaver and Scott, more your defensive contribution guys. Gross, probably just for minutes. Enzo could be the upside picks as well. There you go. There you go. Positional trends do work. Well, like I said, Wolves and Bournemouths are centre mids, so maybe we might see an Ampadu mega haul. Who knows? I would love it. I genuinely would love it if we got an Ampadu mega haul. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it does make sense. Look, there is definitely gains to be had there, but at the same time, Chelsea are poo. They are also pretty poo. Looks like we've had another team sent in for review. If you guys obviously want to get your team sent in for review, I will put the link in the chat. Here you go. Bosh. Third bench, of course. Of course, mate. Let's head over to the FPL Cartel Discord then and check out the team that has been sent in for review. It's from Charlie. Again, a very good member. I think it's Dubravka to Darlow for a -4. My personal opinion, not worth it at all, Charlie. Don't do it. It wouldn't shock me if Dubravka maybe gets, a clean sheet against Forest. I could see that happening. I really, really could see that happening. And then, like, City, you'd just be hoping for, like, save points. You never know. They might get something out of the game. If, obviously, City lose quite badly to Arsenal, they might rotate. And you never know. You could get a surprise in there. Personally, for me, I don't think that is worth the -4. Yeah, I personally don't believe it. He's worth a -4. Stop trying to look to take -4s, Charlie. We know what kind of man you are. Who could be a threat to Cherky for the game against Burnley? Anyone, really. It's Pep, isn't it? You never know what could happen with Pep. You genuinely never know what could happen with Pep. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to ask me ahead of the deadline, do let me know. If you don't trust his minutes, then don't select him, is all I'd say. Like, genuinely, if you're unsure that he plays both minutes in both games, don't pick him. Defcon FC. Defcon FC. Defcon FC. Ole, ole. We're approaching 100 likes, by the way, on today's stream. So if you haven't already, make sure you're hitting that like button. It does push the stream out to obviously more people, and that is exactly what we want to see. Time for me is 12 minutes past 8 in the UK right now. 12 minutes past 8 in the UK. I've gone Cherky over Semenyo. Semenyo hasn't looked his best for quite a few games now. I thought he had chances against Chelsea. He just unfortunately put a few grass cutters in, didn't he? How good is Haaland to get the captaincy? I mean, Haaland is Haaland. Like, you know, he's still the second best player in the league for points per game. So he's always going to be a decent option. Always going to be a decent option, in my opinion. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to ask me, do let me know ahead of the deadline. We'll try and help as many of you out as possible. So yeah, this is obviously my free hit team heading into this game week. I think we're pretty much locked. I don't think there is anything else I want to do with this side, which is unusual for me. But yeah, this is where we're sat. I mean, the spinny wheel chose Scott. Look, I think Scott and Vifa are going to be your DEFCON guys. They're going to be, you know, your 4 to 8 points across the double. Then you've obviously got the more exciting picks in your Enzos, your Tavs, your Gomez's, your IREs. So again, it's all dependent on what route you realistically want to look to go down. If you obviously chasing, I think Enzo could be a really nice differential for this game week. Otherwise, as you can see, my approach is DEFCON time. Yeah. Scott, Tav, and Senesi on a free hit. Seems fine. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't want to like longer term impact my side though. I think Bowen, Thiago, and Gabriel are great long term picks. So maybe a free hit might be the play as well. Can you talk us through your free hit team? Yes, it is DEFCON time. It really is DEFCON time. As you can see, we've gone with Senesi, Strauch, Hill, Van Heck, Ampadu, all okay for pretty much, you know, defensive contributions, trying to just max that metric out. If they get some clean sheets along the way as well, happy days. Nico O'Reilly, one of the most explosive picks within the game. Semenyo, goals conceded. Burnley are really, really susceptible from right wingers. Palmer and João Pedro kind of picked themselves because of the Manchester United situation. And then finally, Haaland captain. There you go. I mean, yeah, this is the thing. If it wasn't a double game week, we definitely probably would be looking at other options. But it is a double game week, so we are here with two. You know, Arsenal probably maybe shut Haaland out, but the Burnley game alone is usually good enough to captain Haaland with anyway. So you're adding in like, you know, just an extra few points for him just playing. If he can get something out of that game, I really do think we could be on for it. I honestly don't know who it could be. My guess is probably Justin, but at the same time, Justin could go to right wing. Bijol could completely drop out of the back line and they leave Rodon, Strauch, and Thingy. So yeah, there we go. Why Ampadu? DEFCON. The guy also has the same amount of points as Salah, and I think he's actually outscored like Saka as well now. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of points he's managed to get this season. Oh, 100%. Bound to be a pen. Thank you for becoming a member, mate. Really do appreciate that. Like I said, if you do want to become a channel member, it's only 99p. We've made it as best as possible. You get, you know, special shout outs in the chat as well. Obviously, priority with your messages and stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to obviously help the channel out as well, do become a channel member. Also, if you want to help today's stream out, make sure you are hitting that like button. It really is appreciated. And make sure you're hitting subscribe as well. Would be great if we could hit the big 28k today. That would be great. And also make sure you join in the FPL cartel. We've had another team sent in for review. And this is where obviously I do review all teams going forward from now on. Abby has said, this is me locked in. I did Bowen to DCL. Makes sense. And this is her bench boost for the week. Best of luck, Abby. Looking like a pretty decent side, isn't it? Obviously, the big reefer haul for Abby last week. But yeah, pretty decent side. Best of luck with the bench boost. How about O'Reilly cap? I just would maybe be concerned that he doesn't play the second game. But again, I think if he was fully fit and available, I think a lot more, like, you know, he didn't obviously go off injured early against Chelsea. I think more people probably would have considered it. I really, really do. Oh, mate, really do appreciate it. Thank you for becoming a member. It, like I said, it really is appreciated. Thank you for supporting the channel, obviously helping it grow. And yeah, hopefully we can help you get a green arrow this week, and hopefully plenty more green arrows across the rest of the season. That is the aim, anyway. That's the aim. Hill and Senesi are more reliable for it. Their strike rate is ridiculous. However, look, you know, Truffair better for points per game than Hill. So again, if you read more into that metric, then that might be the metric for you. I'm late to this stream. Why is a free hit this week better than a bench boost? Again, all team dependent. If you set your team up last week with the wild card, then the bench boost is probably the better strategy. If you've got no players to feature in the double game weeks, then maybe the free hit is the better play. If, of course, you're already loaded into bench boost players, like, you know, you've got a pretty decent side, lots of doublers. Remember, people that double this week, blank next week, so you will probably want to use the free hit then, okay? I have a wild card and free hit. Which one should I play? Again, depending on your team structure. If your team can manage in game week 34, I would be tempted to maybe play the free hit this week, then either look to wild card next week or wild card in game week 35. Is it too risky to go without DCL, Tavernier, and O'Reilly? No. DCL's got 1 goal in 11. Tavernier hasn't really done anything in weeks. O'Reilly probably is the one that does feel like the most nuclear of the picks, though. Like, he could go big at any time and would be the one I would be a little bit concerned by. Speaking from experience there as well, like I benched O'Reilly last week. It was painful. It really was painful. Genuinely was painful. Do get your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to ask me ahead of the deadline? Obviously, like I said, I am here to help you guys out, and hopefully help you get a green arrow out. Saw substitute for Rice, Semenyo, Verts, Welbeck, Thiago. Are you talking about a bench or are you talking about a transfer? Let me know. What do you think about going with Cherki over Semenyo? Again, both very good picks heading into this game week. I can see the upside of both of them. I think for me, though, Semenyo, given the goal involvements that Burnley have conceded from the right-hand side, it's probably going to be the pick I'm going to go with. So, yeah. I don't mind Palmer. We've done the jump the way predictions a little bit earlier in the stream. So if you want to go and check out those for yourself, make sure you're doing that as well. There's over 300 of you, by the way, in today's stream. So thank you very much, first of all, for coming in. If you haven't already, make sure you are hitting that like button. We are ridiculously close to 100. Let's see if we can get there. And obviously, like I said, this stream does get pushed out to more people. And that is exactly what we want. Bench Saw or some of those guys. I probably would bench Saw with obviously him and the rest of the Palace boys on the piss at the weekend. So yeah, he probably would definitely end up on the bench. This is my team using a free hit chip. This is the free hit for me for this game week. So yeah, there you go. This is the free hit team for this week. Big, juicy back five for me. And I love it. I probably would go... I think a DEFCON mid could probably outscore DCL. 1 in 11 is pretty poor, but it is a good fixture. So we're going to put DCL first, then DEFCON mid, then probably Welbeck in that order. I mean, if you don't want to go for it, then... Yeah. maybe look elsewhere. Any reason of going Ampadu and not DCL? 1 goal in 11. DCL just farms in. Like, he just is. He just is a bit of a dafty, isn't he? Ampadu could very easily outscore him by just hitting DEFCON in both games. Very consistent at doing that as well. Wolves have also conceded O'Reilly. Yep, O'Reilly is staying in the side. Unless, obviously, we get any leaks before the deadline or anything like that comes out, he will be remaining within the side. Yeah. Dubravka over Pickford. Yeah, I think you've got to pick Dubravka this week because of, the bench boost and stuff like that. Any updates? I haven't seen any. So unfortunately not. Why not Hinselwood instead of Gross? I mean, you can do if you want to. I just think for me personally, I think Gross is just minutes are locked in. I can't say the same of Hinselwood's. Fair, if that's where you want to go, Jaden Anthony. I mean, that Forest Burnley game could be massive, by the way. If Forest win that, it really does put the pressure on Spurs. If they don't, that could be wild. Obviously, no Elliot Anderson either, or potentially no Elliot Anderson, so that could ruffle a few feathers as well. Probably something like that. Yeah, triple City, triple Leeds defense, and Chelsea attack probably might do it. Ha. No, look, I don't mind DCL. Look, he's got obviously the attributes that I usually look for in players: penalties, 90 minutes. But I've been burnt by DCL before. Like, he just is one of those guys that unfortunately will just drift out of games. He will just drift out of games completely. That's just it, isn't it? Vifa or Gross? I think Vifa is pretty solid for DEFCON. XGI numbers for Gross aren't great, so probably would be more tempted with Vifa as like the DEFCON route. I think triple City attack if you're definitely chasing, but if you want to be safe, yeah, Nico Riley still. Anytime Nico Riley could haul, he has that potential in him. He's honestly one of the biggest players for like random hauls and mega hauls on the cards as well. What chips have you got left? Let me know in the chat, and I'll help you out. Thank you very much for getting the stream up to 100 likes as well. Really do appreciate it. Plenty of you in today's stream as well. Please don't spam, bro, or you will be ejected out of the chat. Right, you've had your warning. Get out. There we go. Please don't spam, guys. We will get round to, like, as you saw there, I answered the guy. I was ready to answer the guy's question, and then he proceeded to just start spamming it. So yeah, please don't spam. I will reply to you. And if I don't see your reply, just put it in a little bit later. Like, don't, like, boom, 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 boom. I will reply, okay? Don't spam. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, there's going to be clashing fixtures this week anyway. But if that Leeds Bournemouth games ends in a 0-0, I'm absolutely laughing, aren't I, there? Like, it's 24 points from the defenders alone before we start working on the defensive contributions. No one's going Welbeck because of his minutes. It's very unlikely that he starts both games. Thank you for the super chat, man. Hi, Tom. I have 5 free transfers and used them plus a -4 for an extra doubler. So I have 8 doublers now. I still have all my chips to play. Plan free hit next week, but should I play the other chips? I have 5 free transfers and have used them plus a -4 to get in it. So if you've got all your chips left, surely you have an all right bench boost for this week. Maybe this week could be the week where you go with the bench boost if you've still got all your chips, or you look at a triple captaincy on Haaland. That's probably why you would go for it. That's probably why you would go for it. Oh, mate, he was doing my head in. He came into spam. We knew what the guy was after, so we nuked him. But yeah, I personally probably would look to go bench boost this week, mate. It probably will be FPL Meerkat that will do them. I could see Bogle maybe getting a bench in one of the games. That's like why I said I've gone with Strauch and Darlow. I just think they're the safe, steady pairs if you want to load up on this Leeds defence. Look, Warner, Bogle, Justin, Bijol could very easily outscore some of these guys. I'm not saying that that's not the case. I am just a little bit concerned about like minutes and stuff like that. Well, you either hope for DEFCON in the clashes or you just hope that they have the worst games ever, right? You genuinely just hope that they play like the worst games of football you've ever seen in your life. What's Gianni got for his team for this week? He's got... Oh, he's like flicking through. So he's got like double Leeds defense, double Bournemouth defense. Yeah, pretty template-ish team. Van Heck over DCL. Yet again, we are going with the DEFCON route. We're going with the DEFCON route. That's how we're playing this week. It is DEFCON Central, isn't it? It is DEFCON Central. I want to play TC this game week, this double game week. Any other options other than Haaland and Cherky? Palmer, but again, hasn't really lit the world alight, has he? Like, I know he's got penalties. United's defensive injury situation might make him a pretty appealing option to maybe consider, but that's about it, really. For me, that's probably about it. Maybe Nunes. Yeah, look, maybe Nunes. I just think, for me personally, I've been burnt by O'Reilly. The guy can go nuclear. If you watch a City game, you're like, how is he in that position? I don't mind the João Pedro cap. I think United are pretty vulnerable from strikers, if my mind is not mistaken. Let me have a goosey gander. So, United are... Where are they? Manchester United, 4 for goal involvements from left wingers. 6 for goal involvements conceded to forwards. Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for the bench boost. He put bench is Gabby, KDH, Anderson, and Dubravka. Maybe TC then try bench boost in game week 36. Yeah, probably the play then, mate. Probably the play, isn't it then? It's not a terrible bench boost, but yeah, you definitely could get better. But, you know, you've got a double game week goalkeeper in there. If he keeps it clean, maybe a few save points in there. Gabby, DEFCON clean sheet. KDH, I won't rule him out. Decent for points per game. So, again, maybe. I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Nunes is reliable for minutes. 100%. He's also got 8 goal involvements this season as well. Yeah, if I was going to triple captain anyone this week, it would be Haaland that I probably would just sling it on. Oh, yeah, we're in it for the long term. Aren't we? Why Ampadu over Tavernier or Scott? DEFCON. Security in minutes. Also, Wolves are very vulnerable to centre midfielders for goal involvement. So maybe Ampadu comes away with a mega haul, but I at least expect, you know, like DEFCON clean sheet. That would be great. It's also Chelsea. That is the only thing that's running through my mind. It is also Chelsea, remember. It is also Chelsea. Don't forget that, ladies and gentlemen. I probably would prefer to maybe... Like, I think the upside is definitely in the first game for Brighton, right? That Tottenham game is great. Chelsea are also pretty vulnerable defensively. No clean sheet in their past 10 Premier League games. However, I think there's probably going to be some rotation. And I feel like the Bournemouth attack, if Leeds win, they could rotate quite heavily. They really, really could. So maybe Bournemouth attackers could be decent value for the second game. Yeah, Palmer is still the penalty taker ahead of Enzo Fernandez. By the way, guys, we need 25 more people to hit subscribe for us to hit 28k today. So if you haven't already, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, sorry. And let's see if we can get this channel up to 28k today. Like I said, only 25 more people. So if you haven't already, make sure you are hitting that like button. If you're an already existing subscriber, make sure you're hitting the like button as well to push the stream out to more people. And let's see if we can do it today. It would be great. Like I said, 25 more people to go to get to 28k subscribers. So let's see if we can do it. I feel like Nico O'Reilly just does have the potential to be one of the biggest haul players at any time in the game. That is why we've selected Nico O'Reilly. We can do some coin flips as well. The coin is here if you're stuck with any 50-50 decisions. Anything that is running through your mind in terms of 50-50 decisions, do let me know, and we can obviously ask the coin. We can ask the coin in terms of captaincy for this week or the spinny wheel as well. Who will you replace Nico O'Reilly if he's benched against Burnley? Hypothetical. If I was to pick any other City defender, it would be Mateus Nunes. Yeah, it would be Mateus Nunes. Probably would be the one I would go for. I think Okafor, like, again, it's kind of that thing of steady DEFCON returns or then the potential for big spikes, right? And Okafor definitely has the big spikes in him. The problem is, I reckon he probably only plays about 60, 70 in both games. And that's if Leeds still need something out of that Bournemouth game. For example, if they win and they feel pretty comfortable, they could rotate against Bournemouth heading into the FA Cup game. So we could maybe see a situation where people like Okafor, Aronson, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, these guys that are pretty consistent in terms of, they're big attacking players that maybe need a little bit of, rest ahead of the FA Cup game, we might see them dropped. So that would be the only thing that would be running through my mind. Ampadu just plays 90 very consistently. Do I think Enzo starts both games? Yes. Coin flip with Truffert versus Senesi and O'Reilly or Senesi. Put it down to 1. Like, don't give me 4. Give me 1. All right. Give me 1. 1 heads for heads. All right. 1 heads for heads. That's all we want. Okay. Let's have a look what we've got. Oh, okay. 21 more people. 21 more people now. Verbergen or Darlow? Let's do that one. Where's the coin gone? It's here. There it is. Heads is going to be Verbergen. Tails is going to be Darlow. Okay. Tails for that one. Coin flip, Senesi or Truffert. Heads is going to be Truffert. Tails is going to be Senesi. Okay. Heads it is. I don't think Esteval starts both games. Nope. Don't think that happens. Don't think Esteval starts both games, in my personal opinion. Pick Scott, Senesi, Truffert. Hopefully it works out, man. Hopefully it works out. Why 5 defenders, though? I just don't like any of the other midfielders. I really, really don't. I'm not... I just think Gross, Scott, Tavernier, they don't excite me. They don't excite me. So we're chasing DEFCON, and hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out. Sell Matoma to Enzo or hold? I would definitely sell. Was in 0% of the jump the wave predictions. I mean, Truffert isn't terrible for DEFCON. Has better points per game, by the way, than Hill as well. So yeah, there you go. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to know ahead of the deadline, we are here to do it. We are here to ask questions. If you want your team rating, we'll put it in the FPL cartel, and that is where we do all of our team ratings. I'm looking at Gomez as a Brighton differential. Yeah, again, when we ran through my model, there was 5 or 6 picks that were all very, very close to each other. So I do believe any of those in that category could all realistically go off. I would rather have João Pedro than Welbeck this week. Higher effective ownership. Also, Welbeck probably won't start both games, in my opinion. Yeah, we've had this question a little bit earlier. I still probably would go for a Bournemouth attacker. I just think Newcastle are a little bit ropey at the moment. And I think if Leeds do win today, then we could also maybe see some rotation ahead of like FA Cup and stuff like that. Probably Chow, I think maybe might be worth it to a double game weaker, but I don't mind the other players that you've got there. Van Dijk, Gabriel, and Rogers are all fine for this game week. Not a terrible bench boost. Not a terrible bench boost. If I had to replace Van Heck, who would it be? I think if I was going to replace Van Heck, I probably would maybe go like either another DEFCON midfielder, so V4 Scott on my bench, or maybe an Enzo Fernandez. I think outside of that, we're really starting to struggle for defensive picks. So yeah, that's personally how I kind of see it. So yeah, that's probably where I would be with that one. 19 more people, by the way, to hit subscribe for us to hit 28k on today's stream, which would be mega. So if you haven't already, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Make sure as well you're hitting the like button if you're already existing subscriber. It is really appreciated. And we've had another team sent in for review on the FPL Cartel Discord. Like I said, if you want to get yourself involved in that one, I'll put the link in the chat. There it is. And Charlie has put locked in. He's taken the -4. He's put Anderson Williams and then Dubravka Darlow for the -4. I didn't tell him to do it, but I've seen some stuff saying the coin flip has made him do it. The coin flip has forced him into doing it. Oh, mate. Fair play. I hope it works out for you, man. I hope there's a fat Darlow pen save, clean sheet. I mean, I'd love it as well. Double clean sheet, pen save. Hopefully it works out, man. Hopefully it works out and Dubravka gets like a red or concedes or whatever. Woof. Big, man. Big. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out. Should we have a go on the spinny wheel for captaincy for this week? Let's do it. Let's do it. So we've got Haaland. We have got Palmer, right? Palmer. We have Semenyo. I don't know if that's spelt right, but we're going with it. Who else would people like to see in here? JP. We'll put JP in here. Nico O'Reilly can go in here. Anyone else people want to see in the spinny wheel for captaincy? Let me know. We'll put DCL in for the vibes. DCL's in for the vibes. But yeah, let me know if there's anyone else you want to see in the spinny wheel. Cherky, someone said. Cherky, we'll put Cherky in there. And I think that's a good amount then. Right? That's a good amount. Best of luck then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who comes out on top as the best captain for this game week according to the spinny wheel. Oh, that's a spicy one, you know. That is a spicy one. Palmer wins it. Palmer is our winner for the spinny wheel captain for this game week. I mean, I could see it. I could see it. I could see it. Fair. Palmer then, ladies and gentlemen, according to the spinny wheel, is going to be the captain choice for this game week. Who knows? Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? Who knows? There you go. So if you're a fan of spinny wheels and they decide how you're going to go in terms of captaincy, then Palmer has just won the spinny wheel for you there. It was close to Haaland. It flirted with it and then went for Palmer. Give him a pen and an assist. Oh, yeah. Pen and assist and you're absolutely laughing, aren't you? 17 more people, by the way, need to hit subscribe on today's stream, and we could hit 28k. Bin the wheel, says Jamie. Bin the wheel. Maybe like at my office, they've got like one of the teams has got like when they've got like a crap task to dish out, they actually have a spinny wheel, like a proper spinny wheel. I don't think my room could get one. I don't think there's anywhere to put a spinny wheel. It's been day drinking. I mean, to be fair, it's probably been more night drinking. It's that hungover, isn't it? But yeah, they've got a big spinny wheel. I don't think I could get it in here, but maybe something to look at some point. What do I think about Evan Nielsen? I think there are plenty better other forwards and better Bournemouth players that I realistically would consider before heading into that. I mean, if Palmer and Scott Hall this week, we know the spinny wheel works then. Like, we've got confirmation bias. Spinny wheel works. Coin's out. Coin is out. Easy as that. By the way, we only need 50 more people to hit subscribe to, of course, get there. Why Ampadu, people are asking me. Ampadu is very good for defensive contributions. Wolves as well have also conceded the most goal involvements to centre mid, so maybe we might get a little bit of something potentially big. His minutes are also very, very good. Very, very good. And if we look at like midfielders that have scored well this season, Ampadu is up there. Like, you know, for a Leeds player, he is up there. So Ampadu has scored, where is he? I swear he scored 105 points, by the way. That is the same amount as Mohamed Salah. That is more than Anthony Gordon. That is more than Cole Palmer, who we are all debating on captaining this week, by the way. More points than Eze, more points than Somerville, more points than Gomez that people are saying is better pick, more points than Sarr, who people have flirted with, more points than Vifa. Yeah, so that's kind of the player we're dealing with here. You know what I mean? Like, he's not bad for point scoring. More points than Okafor. Again, another player that people are like suggesting this week. So he has scored more points than all of these guys. So yeah, there you go. I don't mind it. I personally, for me, would rather have a penalty taker. I just think it is one of those broken metrics that you can always like abuse. For me personally, anyway. That's how I would see it anyway. Yes. Join the DCL club. The DEFCON club. Join us. Join us, my friend. Who do you think for triple captain? Haaland, Semenyo, or O'Reilly? I personally would go with Haaland. Nico is a nice differential captain. Again, there would just be a little bit of doubt in the back of my mind if it is a more, bigger injury. Maybe they get him through the Arsenal game and then navigate the Burnley game. Maybe he gets rotated. I don't know. By the way, guys, we need 30 more of you to hit subscribe on today's stream for us to hit 28k, which would be insane. Genuinely would be insane. So let's see if we can make that happen. That pretty much would be like, we've doubled our numbers, by the way, from like where we were last season. I think we were around like 13.4 at this time last season, K subscribers. So yeah, the growth has been insane, and I can only thank you guys for your continued support. Genuinely, so much love for you guys. The fact that we're just getting like so many people coming to the streams now, so many people watching my videos, it is unbelievable. So yeah, I'm going to take your advice. Bro, I hope it works. I hope it works. I really, really do hope it works. And also, if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you're liking. We'll close on it on 150. And yeah. What about Gruev? No, personally not for me. I'd rather have Ampadu. Just like I said, consistent, steady routes to points every single week. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully a Haaland hat-trick against both. Yeah, I mean, it would be great. Yeah, I've used my triple captain. If I hadn't have used it, depending on my team, how it would be looking, I probably would go this week, or I would look to go for the other double that City have got a little bit further down the line as well. Am I going to do another flip on the last stream of the season? I genuinely don't know what we're going to wear for the last day of the season. I was talking about it yesterday with Mills, and I was saying I might just go suited and booted this year. I don't know. What would you guys want to see? What do you think's been the thing that we've done this year? I know the coin, it's been in and out. It's probably not been as big as it was last year, but yeah, let me know what you want to see dressed up as. Found this channel this season, helped me in FPL. Thanks a lot, lad. No worries. That is what we are here for. We're here to help you guys out and hopefully get you a green arrow as well. FPL MV is in the chat. If you are looking for some other, great content creators out there, FPL MV has definitely got you covered. He says, hi, mate. Impressed with the free hit. So good to see someone really going for something different. Good luck. Hopefully it works, man. Hopefully it works. We went different last week. We benched 28 points. So, yeah, let's hope. Let's hope, man. Let's hope. Ampadu, like I said, has scored the same amount of points as Mohamed Salah this season. Consistent with defensive contributions. Wolves and Bournemouth both are very vulnerable from centre midfielders. We maybe could just get DEFCON, 2 clean sheets. That would be a 10-pointer. If we could maybe pair that with an attacking return, oh my, we could be looking at something big. Personally, wouldn't go for Gruev. I can't guarantee that he starts both games. I can't. So yeah. By the way, we only need 9 more subscribers to hit 28k. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe, hit like, all that good stuff. Yeah, keep on obviously supporting the channel. It's really, like I said, appreciated. And this year, despite FPL being a bit crap and us not being in the greatest position in terms of rank, off like, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, the numbers have been insane. Like I said, pretty much we've doubled the subscriber number from last year. TikTok has gone from 9,000 to 60, pretty much going to be 69k followers. Instagram's gone from about 100 to 16k. Like, I genuinely cannot thank you all for your amazing support this year. I love you so much. If we compare this with a good season next year, who knows where we realistically could be. Yeah, but I also think Cherky could also be rotated. Like, I just think Nico Riley's got the potential to go so big. So big. I mean, Newcastle have got some nice fixtures, game week 35 onwards. So, yeah. Do I think Diego Gomez starts both games? I really could. I like the Brighton attackers. I'm just so unsure who's going to end up there as well. Your content and cartel content with GG is the best. Cheers, man. Really do appreciate it. Next year, 50k. Mate, if we double again, we would be at 50k, which would be genuinely mental. Absolutely mental. But like I said, let's see where we're at. Obviously, we're going to keep plowing on with the content. World Cup content coming your way as well this summer. So if you are playing World Cup Fantasy, don't worry, I will have you covered for it. It's gonna be a good one. Hopefully there's no issues like Club World Cup Fantasy, but yeah, we'll see where we're at. O'Reilly captain this week. I think if you really fancy in a differential, maybe O'Reilly, maybe Semenyo, maybe Cherky could do something. They've got all of them have got that big potential haul in them. I personally, EO safety wise, I'm going to go with Haaland. Cheers, Larry, man. Appreciate that. How do you see, if you go onto the app, if you've got your phone, it will show you, it will be like, there'll be a bit on, if you go to the fantasy bit and then scroll down, it's got like all your ranks and stuff. So yeah, there you go. How many subscribers are we off, by the way? Obviously, we'll be wrapping up about 9 o'clock and letting all the big boys go and do their thing. As always, we need 6 more people, by the way. 6 more people to hit subscribe for us to hit 28k. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. FPL is so addictive. Is the FPL kind of app for the World Cup event? There was the last World Cup, and I'm very certain there will be again. My rank this season is dreadful. Nothing like last season. We're at like 240. The aim is still top 100k. We're really going to have some things massively swing in our favor for that to happen. Last week could have been a really great week, and I think we'd have been about 170 if we hadn't benched O'Reilly. Like, if we'd have played O'Reilly, we would have been about 170. So very easily top 100k could have still been on. I think it's probably a really big task this season to get that top 100k, but we'll try our best. And I think sometimes you learn more from these kind of bad seasons than you do the good seasons as well. So definitely some learning curves that I've taken from, poor results this season, and going to implement some new stuff next season. Why Ampadu over Scott? I mean, the spinny wheel told me to go for Scott. Ampadu and Scott, very, very similar in terms of defensive contributions as well. Like, both could really do pretty decent this game week. I mean, Scott does, again, have more multiple routes to points, doesn't he? So maybe Scott is the better pick. I'm kind of just leaning more towards Ampadu. Look, I feel like the Wolves game, given the goals conceded areas that Wolves and Bournemouth have, both from centre midfielders, does feel like maybe Ampadu maybe gets something out of the game. My thoughts on Bijol, great for defensive contributions. My concern is if Rodon is back for any of the games, I don't know how that defense is going to look like. The only player I could probably guarantee starting both games is Pascal Struijk. That's why I've selected him ahead of Bijol. Bijol over Ampadu, no. Again, like I just said there, like Rodon hasn't, like they've said he's not back in team training, but they said like, oh, there might be some surprises. You don't know. Yeah, there could be anything. There genuinely could be anything. So, is what it is. Why have I gone big at the back? I really don't fancy any of the like Brighton or Bournemouth mids. Yeah, I just don't fancy any of those. So I feel like playing the defensive contribution, centre back, clean sheet route is probably going to be the way. Would you take a hit to add another game week player? If I'm probably, yeah, if I'm on a bench boost, I probably will be tempted to. Bijol will start both games. Probably will. It wouldn't surprise me if he does. Like I said, maybe Rodon plays. Maybe Rodon doesn't play. Maybe Bogle misses out. Maybe Justin misses out. It's one of those, isn't it? It genuinely is one of those. He could easily start both games. I'm just not taking that gamble. That's why I've done it. Why Ampadu over Okafor? Again, if Leeds win, they might rotate quite heavily for the Bournemouth game. And Ampadu is just very consistent points per game as well. I'm playing the DEFCON route. That is where we're going with it. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We've just hit 28k subscribers. Thank you so much for today. Absolute legends as always. Yeah, honestly unreal. I honestly couldn't ask for a better group of people. And let's see where we can end the season. You know, let's keep on trucking, and obviously the World Cup. So we'll keep on plowing the content out, and then we'll be back into a new season of FPL. But yeah, 28,000k subscribers. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Really do appreciate all your support on the channel. Like I said, every day it keeps getting better. I'm stuck between Bijol and Van Heck in a 5-3-2. My midfield and attack is all Chelsea and City, so leaning towards Bijol. Any insight would be appreciated. Bijol has the better defensive contribution numbers. Like I said, I am just a little bit concerned if Rodon does come back at any point, we maybe see some change. But at the same time, Rodon might miss out on both games and be back for the FA Cup game, so Bijol could start both games as well. It could be loads. It could be genuinely loads. So yeah, I think if I was looking for just safety, Van Heck would be it. If I wanted maybe go for that double or triple Leeds defense, probably maybe Bijol then. Cheers, Abby. Cheers, Jamie. Thank you very much, guys. Octavius XO as well. Thank you very much, guys. Really do appreciate all your support that you have shown on the channel. Like I said, it is really appreciated. Striker replacement for Ekatike. Already have Haaland and Welbeck. DCL, João Pedro. Probably going to be the guys you're looking at this week. Should I -4 to replace Van Dijk with O'Reilly? Yes. I don't think Neto starts both games, but I have looked at him. I thought he could be maybe an okay option. But again, I just personally don't think he starts both games. That's just my personal take on it anyway. My laptop has just decided to shut itself down. I don't really know what it's doing. It's just, I think it just needed a minute. Apparently the power cord's not in. I mean, the power cord is in, I think. Oh, no, it isn't. The power cord isn't in. Whoops. Yeah, make sure to have a great game, everyone. Have a decent game week, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it is really, really could be a swingy week. Genuinely really could be a swingy week. But I wish you all the best heading into this game week. I genuinely do. And we'll see where things end up. We'll see where things end up, ladies and gentlemen. What is my current rank? It's like 240. Would you put Thiago in even if he's got a single game week? I still think he could be a decent longer term option. I don't mind Cherky either. I think he's pretty decent. I think Cherky's a pretty decent option to consider always. Yeah, all the best this game week, guys. All the best this game week, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to wrap things up there. Like I said, thank you very much for helping the channel to, of course, get to 28k. It really is appreciated. You're going to be the third YouTube channel I subbed to with 1k subs that went massive. Oh man, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm claiming all the credit for your success. Yeah, like I said, I really do appreciate everybody that's been around for, you know, like back in the day when we were on like 1k subs and stuff like that. It really is appreciated. And to see where the channel has come in just a short space of time, yeah, I'm very, very grateful for everybody, like I said, that's been on the channel. And we'll obviously keep cracking things on and see where things go. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the best of luck for this game week. This is going to be my free hit team. I'll probably only maybe change it if we get some sort of like city leak. Other than that, we are going to probably leave it as is. And yeah, play this as the bench boost. The free hit team, sorry. Just destroy my mic. But yeah, this is where we're going to leave things. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Best of luck this game week. There will be a video out later tonight as well, talking about some transfer targets. And yeah, best of luck, ladies and gentlemen. See you in a bit.